Hello people, so welcome to my review of One Piece chapter 1068, and after 2 weeks, I guess Oda gave us an answer to a 2-week long question of which combination of the Straw Hats would go up against CP0. After this chapter we kind of get our answer. And speaking of questions, like, obviously this cover page with the Vid Specs is going to drag on, but now Oda's implementing like memories of getting flashbacks of Mads here, because this should have been in the last cover story. I'm sorry, like, because you can see Judge and Caesar have been fighting, because it's looking like a repetition of Zoro versus Sanji, and Nami just smacking the hell out of them. That's what that looks like. We get the bubble dream, I guess, the flashback of when they're part of Mads. Looks like we only see two of them, so that could be Vegapunk and Queen, or that could be them themselves in science outfits. But the real interesting thing is like the pet silhouettes. They're in the background. I'm assuming that they're pets. The silhouettes, I'm sure Oda's going to reveal them in time, and given the fact this is pretty much Vegapunk's arc, I would be surprised if that's sooner rather than later. We start off the chapter with Vegapunk 4, I guess, giving the Straw Hats and Punk Shaka the lowdown on what's going on right now. As he's scanning in, he's seeing like the CP0. Vegapunk's trying to push it off, like, oh, thanks for bringing us the Zephyrium, now can you run along here? He's got something to do, so obviously he can't come out to see you guys, obviously. So Rob Lucci gets suspicious about this. So, oh, they noticed. Then the pigeon kind of asks, oh, it's been a long journey, can't you let us in? And then Rob Lucci kind of like breaks it down. Hey, I've heard there were disappearance cases here in Egghead Highland. Wouldn't you know anything about that, considering a group of CP5, CP7 completely disappeared, and 2 weeks ago CP8 disappeared. So 3 factions of Cypherpole came into Egghead Island and disappeared out of nowhere. And Lilf gets triggered by this. Are you trying to say we did this? You're literally inviting them to investigate on Egghead Island, which is a mistake. But then Rob Lucci's like, we're going to change the plan up and use the Zephyrium Kuma's abilities to actually teleport onto Egghead Island, which is actually pretty smart. And abandon shit, because they know it's going to get demolished by these sea beasts anyway. But then we go to, speaking of teleport, we go back to Kamawaka Kingdom, where we see Kuma continuing to run off. Kuma, with his paw hand, actually teleports himself, which is pretty cool. To me, implies he doesn't have much steam, like I thought. And then we cut away to Luffy answering Vegapunk from the last chapter, saying he wants to leave Egghead Island, and Luffy's like, yo, why? Your lab is right here. I completely used up all the government's research funds, and I can continue to research however I please. Even now, the overflowing ideas won't stop, but this time, one day I want to create a world of science, a world of energy that is widespread all over the world, free of charge. So, if this again goes right over Luffy's head, Jinbei brings up a pretty good point. It's like, the resources that produce energy are fought over by many countries, and the moment I heard that tell me that doesn't remind you of chakra from Naruto, because that's exactly what that reminds me of. Is he talking about energy itself, or is he talking about devil fruits? I don't know. Right, humans are such foolish beings. You can feel energy here, over there, and everywhere else. It's pretty much everywhere, but you know, if Vegapunk gets this look of bewilderment, even though the world is full of it, if I can convert it into visible power, a large fuse of war will be erased from this world. Surely science will reach that point one day. Yeah, maybe after Blackbeard and the government be taken down, sure. Right now, it's probably not a good idea to convert energy to physical form right now. Again, goes right over Luffy's head. Luffy just responds like, I think a person can make everyone happy is good. I'm not interested in being a hero though, so I don't know why I had to include that, because moving on, why don't you want to leave this place? Yes, about that. So this is pretty much the reason. So the more I tried to create this energy, that dynamic power source was able to power this ancient robot. So close to finding out about that. Ancient energy is my nature. The scientist that I want to take a peek at it. If I unraveled the strings of the forbidden history, what on earth will, in the course of inheriting my friend's will? I am quickly getting closer to the truth. And Vegapunk explains, well, I step deep into the forbidden story, I will be eliminated by the world government. Just like what they did to O'Hara, only this time there's no admirals right now. so they're okay. That ruckus is probably being caused by CP0. And Luffy doesn't realise this, but he saw a CP0 agent on Wano, so I don't know why he's totally surprised by this. Because when it explains like CP0 are those only act under orders of the Celestial Dragons. And then I do like Luffy calling it out and says, what CP0, not CP9, like CP9 like lower tier, CP0 top tier, which is pretty much what Manga explains. Like, no, they're at the top of Cyberball trying to hype up Ralph Lucci, but the only problem is, like, I'll get to that in a minute, but Kaku is like the only one displaying any type of personality right here. Well, actually, Susie to a certain extent. I'm going to be honest, leads to one of my favourite moments in the entire chapter. So Kaku's getting excited by the futuristic island that they're on. So he's about to go exploring, but before then, Cypher Paul, the residents of Egghead Island, are kind of questioning Cypher Paul. Hey, don't they usually wear black outfits? I like how they're quick to call out, hey, don't tell me these people are intruders. While Shaka's getting the lowdown that CP0 is on the island, how they get through the port, they rejected our quest, that they foresaw that and used that an ability to enter this island. So they recognize they use one of Kuma's abilities to get to the island. Now, here's the thing: when you see the Straw Hats and Shaka and Vegapunk 4 looking in at CP0, look at each of the Straw Hats. You can kind of see a facial expression, with the exception of Robin, which I think is dumb. I don't think is an accident. I'm just saying. So Sanji has an expression, Frankie has an expression, Usopp definitely has an expression, and of course Nami has an expression. Robin doesn't, and I think that's done by design. I think that's very, very interesting, considering Robin, I think, should be a candidate to go against CP0, despite the ending of this chapter, which I'll get into. This is where the tension builds, where they kind of like building up the invasion of CP0 here on Egghead Island, because you know this is a problem where Shaka's like asking Atlas, yo, prepare the Zephyriums, prepare Zephyrium Snake, which I'm assuming is Ball Hancock, prepare Zephyrium Hawk, which is Mihawk, Zephyrium Shark. Is that Jinbei or is that another? Then we see a panel of Sentomaro. I'm like, whoa, wait, where the hell did Sentomaro come from? Because I'm looking at the panel where the CP0 are storming on the island. I don't see Sentomaro, and we haven't seen him in a while. So, but it looks like they made they created a version of Sentomaro for purposes. That's actually pretty smart and actually pretty cool. Complimenting Sentomaro, since he was actually a threat pre-time skip, and he may still be a threat with his hockey, but right now to Luffy, no. But I do like how he's been acknowledged. So Shaka's like, yo, let Sentomaro take charge, and I'm like, whoa, I'm like, okay. And Luffy's like, yo, I'll help you out, but it's only because you have a funny looking head. So typical Luffy response. And this is where obviously the alliance comes in, because Vegapunk's like, yo, there's going to be a battlefield down here. You bring Jory Bonnie along with above those clouds. So Luffy's like, yep, okay, sure, anything to further this alliance. So, which is interesting, because then Vegapunk pulls an after image and decides to vanish going up top. So he'll be meeting them. I'll get to that in a minute, because I think there's another reason why he dipped and actually disappeared going ahead. Luffy doesn't call Vegapunk by his name. He's like, hey, old man Apple. And I alluded to this a couple of chapters ago, when Luffy actually called Bonnie by her name. Luffy doesn't do that with just anyone. So, but this is where Kaku's wanted to explore, actually almost backfires, trying to go up above, scan see if Vegapunk's actually up there, which is pretty smart. He ends up getting targeted by laser beams, and then this is actually the funniest part of the entire chapter, because Kaku gets blasted by beams and survives, obviously. But the thing that really puts this over is like Stussy warning him after he's been blasted. Rob Lucci's nonchalant response, like, couldn't you just warn us ahead of time? And you see Kaku can come back down all charred up from the attack. Damn it, Stussy, you really have a bad attitude. And then Stussy responds, oh, how was it? Quite the warm-up, don't you think? So that's kind of cool. We're getting banter like that from even CP0. So I just like moments like that when it's unexpected. Then it gets real serious real quick when Atlas decides to storm him and try to attack. Doesn't work. because Rob Lucci goes into his own form and pulls out Rakugan. It's the same technique he used on Luffy in the end of that, near the end of their fight, previous fight. I don't know if they're going to literally have a rematch. It looks like that's it for Vegapunk Atlas, unless, and this, remember, this version of Vegapunk actually nailed Luffy, so it's not a joke. But I can see they're trying to hype up Rob Lucci, but in the midst of Stussy warning Kaku after he got torched by the laser beam, it seems like Stussy's been on this island before because she knows the layout, so that's kind of interesting. And she does say it's not to underestimate Vegapunk, which, given the fact they have Zephyr copies of a majority of the Shichibukai, I apply to agree with that, on top of the Straw Hats being there. I don't know if this is going to be it for Atlas, if she's going to be repaired, but yeah, that's a heavy blow to take. And then wouldn't you know who shows up? Luffy with Bonnie in his shoulder, trying to catch up with Vegapunk, but all he does is run into Rob Lucci and co. So this is the awkward reunion that I was expecting, given the last chapter. And that's how the chapter ends, pretty much. So this is Oda's answer from the 2-week question of which combination of the Straw Hats would go up against Cypher Paul CP0 first. We got our answer. It's Luffy's group, and it really changed when they threatened to kill Jory Bonnie. I mentioned this in the last review. It was there for a reason. And the fact that Bonnie's literally in Luffy's arm right now, knocked out, and we saw Kuma literally teleport himself to somewhere, quote unquote. We know where he's heading. It's not even a secret at this point. The question is, when he gets there, what's he going to do? Because if he only had the energy to teleport, there's not much he can do other maybe sacrifice himself to help out Bonnie and Luffy, by default the Straw Hats. Maybe the rest of the Straw Hats are going to get involved. I don't know. Right now, they're sitting cozy, watching in at what's going on right now. So I don't see them to keep watching very long. But it's going to be interesting now that Luffy is the one that encounters Rob Lucci. And I noticed some of the comments in this chapter on the site echoes the same thing I've been saying for I don't know how long. Okay, it's basically what I've been saying. So unless Lucci has a hybrid form that's even more durable and stronger than Kaido, the previous enemy that Luffy faced, arguably Luffy's strongest foe to date, then how's he going to be a threat to Luffy? The only way I see him even being a threat is, I hate to say this, Luffy being nerfed considerably. I hate to say this in form of Bonnie, and maybe that's when Kuma shows up, because right now, Kuma showing up with Luffy at full, Bonnie awake, will just be overkill, because Bonnie has a broken devil fruit ability if she connects. So, and we see she can use close combat too, because she kicked the hell out of Luffy, even though he has future sight. And that's the other thing too. If Luffy has future sight and Lucci doesn't, that's going to give him a huge edge. It will be interesting, I will say that. Like I said, the only way I'm okay with Luffy fighting Lucci, again, is if this leads to an alliance, if this leads to the team up, because I get the feeling Kuma showing up is going to be the sacrifice, the trigger for Bonnie to, okay, I'm going to get even with these. And right now, teaming up with Luffy makes the most sense. Or teaming up with the Straw Hats makes the most sense to get back at the world government. That to me is going to be the bigger picture going forward. So that's why Cypher Paul there. And the fact that they're already causing mayhem leads me to believe, is Oda trying to wrap this up before Christmas or possibly in the new year? I don't know. I definitely don't see it lasting much longer. I don't see this being a full-fledged fight, because one, unless Lucci's been secretly training, before Lucci showed up taking care of Atlas, he didn't really do much outside of kicking the hell out of a Dantata, which is not much of a feat. So that's all we got. So it's kind of cool we got this from Lucci trying to sell us on the maybe he's a threat because he took out Atlas and Atlas managed to punch Luffy. No. I get Lucci still probably has his hybrid form. Like I said, unless he's a lot quicker than Kaido, a lot stronger than Kaido, or Luffy is nerfed, one of those three, that has to be the case here. And considering the fact we have other Zephyrians that Vegapunk can use, and Stussy literally warned them not to underestimate Vegapunk here. But now, the thing about Vegapunk going off on his own, ahead of the Straw Hats, probably going to meet up with them by the end. I think this is another reason why Vegapunk left. I think Vegapunk, he said he had something to give Bonnie, but we didn't find out what that is in the previous chapter. So I think whatever that is, it could be one of the reasons why Vegapunk is going off on his own, to give Bonnie something, maybe an equalizer combat against CP0, maybe. If they're gonna have an impact, because you don't hype that up. We can't be doing random things here with the final saga, if not the final saga starting already. I'm gonna be honest, when Kaku said he's gonna go off to search for Vegapunk, I initially thought maybe he's gonna bump into Zoro again. Because even if he's watching out for the ship, Zoro can get lost and drop a hat, so that'd be interesting, but no, turns out Kaku is with them. Kaku versus Jinbei will be interesting. I will say that if that ends up happening. If Lucci, I don't see Lucci just letting Luffy walk on by. So obviously we're gonna get the rematch. Question is, how much of a rematch is it gonna be, and how long will it end up being? Will this be Lucci trying to attack Luffy dodging for a chapter, or is it Luffy like literally gonna throw into gear 4 and literally go in for Lucci? Also, Lucci's going to notice the fact that Bonnie's there, so that increases the tension somewhat. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. In the end, I think we know how this is going to end up with Kuma literally teleporting himself. And like I said, Kuma, the fact that he barely managed to teleport with his Devil Fruit ability, obviously he doesn't have the energy to fight these guys. He does have a role to play in this arc, in this story going forward, and I think the only thing that makes sense right now is sacrificing himself to help out. I think it's interesting because one group of the Straw Hats have dealt with the Seraphim, and Luffy has not. But let me know what you think down below. Do you think Lucci versus Luffy is going to be close at all, or do you think Luffy's going to have to be nerfed here? Because that's my feeling. Like I said, the only way I'm cool with this if this leads to an alliance, if this leads to a team up between Barney and Luffy, because they're both targeting now. That's going to do it for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Like the review if you did. A thumbs up, I appreciate that. Subscribe, chat for more One Piece. Catch you guys later. Thanks, guys. Bye.